May 1, 2011. Two modified Black Hawk helicopters cross into Pakistani airspace. Their radar-absorbing fabric coatings keep them completely invisible to local military tracking as they fly low through the night. They are heading toward a highly unusual, isolated compound in the city of Abbottabad, sitting suspiciously close to a Pakistani military academy. American intelligence didn't find this fortress by scanning satellite imagery for their primary target. They found it by tracking a trusted courier named Abu Ahmed, whose identity was extracted during interrogations at the Guantanamo Bay detention camp years earlier. Looking at the schematic of the compound, CIA analysts noticed glaring architectural anomalies. The exterior walls reached up to 18 feet high. Even the third-floor balcony had a 7-foot privacy wall built into it, specifically designed to conceal a tall man pacing outside. The mission starts with an immediate disaster. As the first helicopter, Chalk 1, hovers over the compound, it gets caught in an unpredictable air vortex. The aircraft completely loses lift, spins out of control, and slams its tail directly into the high concrete wall. A decade of meticulous intelligence gathering culminated in a chaotic, nearly fatal crash at second zero. The operatives on board had to instantly abandon their initial plan and adapt on the ground. The stakes of this operation left zero room for retreat. Inside this building was the architect of a decades-long terror campaign, a man who first directed his hatred toward American culture when U.S. troops arrived in Saudi Arabia during the Gulf War. He spent the 1990s escalating his attacks. In 1993, he orchestrated a bombing in the underground parking garage of the World Trade Center, tearing a massive crater through the concrete and killing 6 people. By the year 2000, his reach extended to international waters. His operatives blasted a gaping hole in the side of the USS Cole, a Navy-guided missile destroyer, killing 17 American sailors while they refueled. And in 2001, he delivered the ultimate strike, bringing down the Twin Towers in an attack that forced the United States to launch a relentless global manhunt. Operation Neptune Spear was a required act of national closure against an enemy who had repeatedly struck the United States. They just had to finish it tonight. Inside the downed Chalk 1 helicopter, all 12 commandos miraculously survived unhurt. They climb out of the wreckage and immediately pivot to blowing through the outer gates with explosive charges. This map of the triangular compound shows their path. From the main gate, they move through the parking area, approaching the adjacent guest house. Breaching the doors, they meet immediate gunfire, neutralizing Abu Ahmed, the courier whose trail led the CIA to this location. The operatives operate under strict orders to protect non-combatants. After the crossfire ends, they carefully secure Abu Ahmed's wife and children in a safe zone before moving forward. With the perimeter secured, the team leaves the guest house behind and moves across the courtyard. They converge on the main 3-story structure, where their primary target is believed to be hiding. Approaching the main 3-story building, the commandos cut the power to the entire compound. They weaponize the sudden darkness, relying on their advanced night vision goggles to navigate, while the inhabitants are left completely blind. Moving to the first floor, they realize the target's son, Khalid, is hiding in the dark. One commando uses a psychological tactic, whispering Khalid's name in Arabic. When Khalid leans out from behind cover to look, the team eliminates him. The team pushes up to the second floor. They finally corner their primary target, who attempts to use his 2 wives as human shields. The commandos find their opening and execute the fatal shots. Back in Washington, high-level officials watch the operation unfold live. Over the satellite radio, they hear the confirmation they had waited 10 years for. Geronimo, AKIA, enemy killed in action. The initial crash had forced the commandos to abandon their flight plan, but it hadn't stalled their momentum. Floor by floor, they had cleared the entire compound in under 40 minutes. The team now had a strict 30-minute window to exploit the site. They swept the compound, pulling nearly 500,000 digital files from 183 separate computers, hard drives, and storage devices. The contents of those drives revealed a bizarre reality. The mastermind of global terror spent his isolation hoarding video games like Super Mario and Counter-Strike, Disney movies for the kids in the compound, and dozens of documentaries about himself. A backup Chinook helicopter arrives to extract the team and their massive intelligence haul. Before leaving, they rig their crashed Black Hawk with explosives to destroy it. The charges detonate, but a distinct piece of the tail section survives the blast. By the next morning, images of this angular rotor resting on the wall expose America's top-secret stealth technology to the global media. The raid succeeded, but it created an immediate geopolitical crisis. The United States now had to figure out how to permanently dispose of the most dangerous man in the world. They needed to handle the body quickly without violating Islamic laws or creating a physical location that could become a martyr's shrine. Terrestrial burial presented impossible hurdles. Cremation is strictly forbidden in Islam. His home country of Saudi Arabia refused to accept the remains. Burying him in Pakistani or Afghan soil would guarantee his grave became a permanent pilgrimage site for his followers. The military opted for the only viable solution. They transported the body to the USS Carl Vinson, an American aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea, to perform a religiously compliant burial within the required 24-hour window. On the deck of the ship, an Arabic translator assisted as the body was washed, wrapped in white cloth, and given traditional religious prayers before being dropped into the depths of the ocean. Without a grave or a physical monument, there was no site left behind to serve as a future rallying point. Within 24 hours of the raid, the architect of the 9/11 attacks had simply vanished into the Arabian Sea.